Hi,
Hi.
everyone. Good to see you. My name is Susannah Campora. I'm the founder and creator of Real Life Book Club and the Real Life Socials. And I am here today with Kristie Keever, who is an amazing woman. I have the privilege and honor of sharing with you today. Kristie, hi. Thank you so much for being on here today.
Hello, and thank you for having me.
Yes, my pleasure. We'll go ahead and get started. And I just want to highlight that Kristie is a partner of Real Life Book Club as well as a sponsor for the Real Life Socials. And we have really come together because our visions overlap and they are in alignment with each other. It's such a pleasure to be working with someone like you that is able to see the vision through and through and be able to bring to life whatever is in your heart and whatever you see for your life, for your business, as well as so many people that you work with. So just to kind of drill it down, I would love for you to share a little bit about yourself and what I'm talking about. What do you do and what's your work about? And how do you see our partnership coming together so beautifully?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, I am a brand strategist and I work with creative women who have big missions. They're trying to accomplish very big things.
Mhm.
And so, when we work together, we work to provide structure and strategy around their mission to give it foundation so that it can really grow and take on the life that it needs to in the way that they want to. Because these women have stories that they want to tell and big impacts that they want to make. And the only way that they can if they have the right platform of which to do it. And so, to answer your question in regards to what is it that I'm doing as why does it make an impact, is because it's you very quickly realize when you're out and kind of trying to conquer the world, if you will, that it's really hard to do that by yourself.
Yes.
And so, having a community, a safe place to land and get supported and encouraged and lifted as you climb is really the reason why I chose to partner, because this is part of my mission, is to provide the platform to get their missions and their visions out there in really big ways, and to have the support that they need along the way in order to be able to do so, because it's really lonely out there when you feel like you're in a sea all by yourself. And so having a safe place to have a community is a must.
Oh, love it so much. Yes, it's no surprise that we're partnering together. That sense of community that I have found in working with you, and also the community that we're creating together. Really, I mean, it's so awesome to see our worlds collide and see how that community is really right. What is it? The rising tides that you always
Yes.
love. That analogy. That can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, it really is, kind of the momentum, if you will. Same analogy. I'm really big on using analogies because I think people can see it better when you have something to relate it to.
For
So
sure.
it's just like, if you're one single lonely pencil, all in a sea by yourself, it's really hard to break that pencil because it's not very strong and secure. But as you add more pencils to it, it becomes more concrete, more stable, more secure, in that when you stand, instead of standing alone, you now stand together to accomplish a big mission, a big vision, and goals. And it's really hard to break that group when you're all together because it's really hard.
Yeah, I love that you bring that up. And I really did visualize kind of where you were last year, where I was last year. I do feel like we are kind of floating around and we were kind of like in and out of connecting. And then we figured out how to connect on a deeper level, I think, that enabled us to start collaborating. And it has taken a lot of getting real with what is and what isn't and what we both want. And then we were able to get
Mhm.
clarity from that
Yes.
space of authenticity that allowed us to be like, ooh, yes to this, no to that. Yes to this, no to that. So it's been a really awesome process. And I know a lot of women go through that process of owning their own businesses and their purpose, their mission, or whatever it is that they're really passionate about in life. They do go through that process of getting clarity about what is real for them. And after working with you, Kristie, I knew that you were an integral part of me getting more clarity around my vision and my mission. And that has been the case in working with you. It's just been so relieving to find someone that can really connect with me on that level. So can you share a little bit about how you have helped me and many other mission-driven women get clarity on what they're doing in their life, and then how to ground it and anchor it into reality, which I think you're amazing at too.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I think that that's definitely my superpower and my gift for sure, is being able to take, especially as creatives and entrepreneurs, like we see shiny things all over the place, right?
Yeah.
We're driving 50 different directions and we're like, absolutely no more projects. And someone else calls and you're like, ooh, project.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard to kind of figure out like which way is up and which way you should be going and what are the important things that you need to be focused on. Mm-hmm. You're out and about and you're hearing, oh, you should and could, and why don't you, and let me introduce you, and all these
those little voices,
all these distracting things. Yeah, it's kind of like we're in a whirlwind of a tornado of opportunities and ideas, right? Mm-hmm. And so my gift and my superpower is really to just hear you and really validate what it is that you have in mind, your big picture, your big vision, that big goal, even though you don't know how exactly, if it's even possible to turn it into reality or how to even go about it, Mm-hmm. I'm able to really see clarity behind it. And I see clarity within what it could be or what it should be well before my clients do. But at the same time, it's not like I can say, Susannah, here's exactly what it needs to be, and you need to do exactly this, and you need to talk to this person, and just follow this process. Because just like our children, like we tell them, don't do that, you're going to hurt yourself. And what do? They do it and they hurt themselves. But you have to learn.
Yeah.
You have to go through that process of falling down, picking yourself back up, wiping off those tears, and then giving yourself the courage and confidence to keep moving forward. And so part of like what I did for you and what I do for other clients is being able to take all of those whirlwind of thoughts and ideas that are floating out there and put them through a funnel to provide the structure, the clarity, the confidence, the conviction really that you need. Because it's already all there. That's a beautiful thing. It's all there in random thoughts and places, but what you're missing is the information or the dots, the line of which to connect one dot to the next and how to make it come full circle so that it actually works for you instead of just being a cluster of random thoughts and ideas.
It's funny because we're on this analogy kick, I gotta say. We've already brought up a lot of analogies. But I seriously was thinking of like, you extract that within people. Mm-hmm. And you're like a gold miner. It's like the gold is in there. Let's get through, to it, and then extract it and bring it all together. Sift through the stuff that's not the gold. Let's just focus on the gold. And give us an example of maybe like one or two clients that you have helped do this for, where you just feel like now that they have worked with you, you have extracted that gold, and that's what people see when they view their business or their brand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that one of the things, especially as women, we're always at fault of is really underestimating ourselves and what we're really capable of doing if we're given the right mindset, the skill set, and the tools. I know, right?
Oh my God.
We've never heard that before, right? No. And so not guilty myself at all by any means. Exactly. And so as far as like feedback and testimonials that I get from my clients, it's all pretty consistent in regards to, you provided confidence and clarity to me when I was really lost and confused. And again, it's already all there. But sometimes like when we're going about business and just doing what we do, we see things right here. And it's really hard to see right here because we can't see right there. You know what I mean? And so it's like, Exactly. So it's really hard. And so sometimes it's just that outside perspective to say, oh, here's what I see, and here's what you're telling me, and here's the pieces and parts. The only thing that you're missing is A, B, and C. So let's take those and put those together, and there you go. So it's really consistent and unanimous in regards to, I think the big thing that comes out of it is just you finally feeling that confidence that I do have everything that I need. And this is a real thing that can happen. And this person does believe in me. And, I've been a cheerleader since I was 6 years old. And so there's, the little rah-rah in me, like, come on, you can do this. And, there to kind of have your back and push you along the way. And sometimes literally push you along the way when you're resistant to things. But it's like just having that person who really believes in you and believes in your mission and your message and your passion behind it, that it really can happen. When you finally allow yourself to feel that and believe that, that's when magic really does happen. And so I'll give you a example of a client that I've been working with. This adorable, adorable, adorable woman. She was a teacher, an elementary school teacher, and she so wanted to stay home with her kids. She has 3 small kids at home. Her baby is 8 months old, I think, the youngest of the 3. And she had this idea that she wanted to put together. She just didn't know how to go about it. And she tried this or that, and it was working, but not as well as she wanted it to. Not as well as it to replace her income to keep her at home with her kids. And so she knew that she was capable of it. She just didn't know how to go about it. So she reached out to me. I started coaching with her, and we coached together for 6 months. And we tried this and we tried that, and some things worked and some things didn't. But it's part of that process of figuring out what works for me or you is not going to work for the next person or the next person or the next person, because we're all individuals. So our own style and our passions and personalities going to come across in a way that resonates with our clients, completely different one to the next.
Yeah, and that takes time to discover.
It does. It really does. And you have to try. Pick yourself up, try again, keep trying. And we got to the point where about 3 months ago, she launched her first program that she was trying to do. She wanted to provide an educational platform to teach other teachers how to transition from teaching to becoming an entrepreneur, even if it was just to what's the word? Supplement. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Supplement their income, because they still want to be teachers, but they're teachers don't get paid enough. Like, God bless them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't get paid enough. So whether it was just to supplement their income or replace their income and leave their jobs, regardless of what their mission, that's what she was super passionate about. And so we launched her first program. First program, she did $2,000.
Oh.
She anticipated, which is a huge win for her, because she was like, yes, that's another month of income that I don't have to worry about. And then we took what we learned on the last one, edit and tweaked, and edit and tweaked and edit and tweaked. And then she just launched another one again 3 months later. And this time she did $15,000 in her launch.
What?
Yes.
What? So
yes.
From the first version of $2,000 to only the second version?
Yes.
What was the time gap between those?
It was 4 months.
What? Mm-hmm. That is so well worth that. I mean, the waiting of 4 months, that's it. And trying it for the first time. And
and she only works part-time because she has 3 her kids are all at home. None of them are in school yet.
Wow, that is incredible.
Yep. So again, it's just provide that clarity to say, okay, this is what you're telling me that your big vision, your big passion, your big purpose, your mission is. And so let's provide some structure and some strategy around it so that it can really work for you in the way that works for you in the time frame that you have allotted. And let's really make it work for you. If you're open to receiving and hearing and editing and refining as you need, then it absolutely does and can work hand over fist.
Wow, I totally sense that. And even just working with you, I do feel like I naturally have more confidence to take action. I mean, I would say I'm a pretty action-oriented person.
Agreed.
And I would step into action mode. But then there also comes a time where we do have those blind spots where we do find ourselves in fear around taking action. And I just really appreciate there's something about the way that you work that you're so confident in what you do and how you can help people that I think that people do easily trust, the direction that you are taking them. And they are more able to step into action because they're not doing it on their own. Mm-hmm. So that even if there is, things that don't work from the action, you totally feel like you're collaborating with an expert to kind of cushion the blow, if you will.
Yes.
If there even is a blow, like I don't really see, I do see that we're all smarter when we work together. We're all wiser, we have more experience together. And so, I mean, that is a great example of you helping someone take action. I mean, there are so many stay-at-home moms and women in general who will talk about these amazing ideas that they have. And what would the world look like if they were empowered to implement and execute on these ideas, even if they're not perfect at first? our
Exactly.
the world would be a better place. And so I just commend you for helping that particular client, helping me, and so many other women, and mainly women, right? Is who you work with?
It's mainly women. I do work with some men on occasion, the brave men, but
The ones
usually
that will take direction really well.
exactly, exactly. And so, yeah, they're usually brave souls that reach out because all of my advertising and my marketing and everything that I do, I say I work with women. But I will on occasion have a man reach out to me and say, I realize that you work with women, but I'm wondering if you work with men too. Absolutely.
That's
Usually
awesome.
what I've found though with the men that I do work with is that their audience is women.
Oh, there you go.
So
That's
they're
really
looking for that missing piece on what I'm trying is kind of working, but I know it can work more. I'm just not quite sure what I'm missing because I'm not a woman.
Oh, I love that. That's
Yeah.
that's actually a really good point. So any men business owners out there that primarily work with women, definitely hit Kristie up. She knows the way of the woman.
That I do. I
Yeah.
want to go back real quick to what you said about working with clients, though, real quick in regards to the collaboration
Yeah.
and having a huge like a cheerleader and an advocate for you and with you, so that you soften the blow. I think that you hit the nail on the head with that because it really is. I don't view the projects and the clients that I work with as just a project or a one-off client.
Mm-hmm.
It is a partnership that takes time to build, so that we can make sure and do it right and build something that has substance and is scalable and can withstand the test of time.
Ooh,
And
I
so, in
love
order to
all
do
those.
that, what's that?
I just love all those qualities that you just said.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I am very selective about the type of people that I work with because what I do, because it is a partner involvement on both ends, I'm willing to put 200% of effort, attention, and energy into you, but you have to do the same thing with me. It's a co-collab. I'm helping you finish off what you saw as a vision instead of doing a project for you.
Awesome.
So that's really important for me.
Wow. So they really are empowered, and yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. And a word that comes to mind is holistic. You do
Yes.
things very holistically. And how, Kristie, how have you gotten started on this path for yourself? Because you are so clear and confident in your own authentic work and how you show up in the world, and it's super magnetic. And I mean, I think that we would all say that we would just love to get to the point where you're at with your business and your work in the world. So
Thank you.
tell me a little bit about what you've had to overcome and what you've had to go through to get to this space so that we know that we can do it too. We
Yep.
know that where Kristie Keever is, we can be there. It's possible.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. That I kind of have to choke a little bit back there, because when I think back about my path and experiences that I've gone through in my business, I really have to sum it up to two words, and that is sheer determination. Sheer determination, because from the time I was a child, at 12 years old, I remember it was a rainy day. I'm sitting in the car with my mom and my brother's in the back seat. And we're just driving around, not really, I don't know where we were going, but I remember all of a sudden being overcome with this incredible emotion and this feeling like I am capable of so much. And I really truly believe that. And I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that means. I don't know when or where or how. I just know that I felt this overwhelming feeling like I am capable of so much as long as I believe in myself.
Wow.
And so, yeah. And so I really just carried that with me throughout my entire life. And so when people ask me, like, how did you get into doing what you do? I really, truly think that it found me. I didn't go out and seek it. It just found me. And over time, it molded and created and evolved and turned into what it really is.
Yeah.
And I think that that's my big purpose, my big passion. And so I'm really passionate about working with women, especially single moms and just women entrepreneurs in general, because I started this whole entrepreneurial journey out of a need. I was a single mom to a beautiful 4-year-old boy at the time, and I wasn't making ends meet. And I needed to get creative and think outside of the box and figure it out. And so I started freelancing. And
Wow.
over time, my background is actually market research. I'm really good at asking questions because at 12 years old, I knew what I needed to do. Again, I didn't know how to do it, but I knew it was important to ask questions. So my whole life has been catered to asking questions. And I think my parents, well, my dad would tell you as a kid that I was the why kid. Why?
No
Because I
wonder
needed
why
to
we're
know
friends.
how everything works, right? Like get into the psyche and the mindset. And I'm kind of surprised that I didn't become a psychologist or a psychotherapist or anything, because that would have worked well too.
Life coach right here.
Exactly. And so yeah, so I started out, and then it really kind of carved into, there's a huge need amongst women to feel like we're enough and that we're capable and that we can if we want to. And so one of my favorite quotes, or kind of like word phrases, things that I see out there all the time that I love the most, that resonates with me the most, is I can and I will. Watch me. It doesn't mean you know how. It doesn't mean you know when. It doesn't mean you know where, or any of those questions. It's just, I know I can and I will. At some point in time, it's going to happen if I really believe it.
Yes. Well, even those words, if you were to practice using those words, you would believe it, or you could look at it another way. You could only use those words if you believe it to be true, that I can, I will, watch me. And watch me implies that it's already done, that you're taking action. I absolutely love that mantra. I'm going to take that one.
Thank you. Yeah. So that's kind of the thing in the back of my mind when people tell me, no, you can't. Really? Yes, I can. Watch me. Who says? There's no rule book anywhere that says you can or you can't, or how, or you should or you shouldn't. The only rule book is the one that lives in here.
Oof, that is good. You are like a pseudo life coach, and I love the language that
I
you.
have been said that. I've been told that a lot over the course of, especially my entrepreneurial career. But I think my oldest, dearest friends would tell you the same thing. You've been my life coach my whole life.
Oh, that is awesome, Kristie. So much contribution to those around you. It's beautiful. And I just want to allude to the fact that, you do so much with mindset work and confidence building and cheerleading and creating a strategy and how to implement the strategy. So you do so much for people. And then you also, everything that I've actually visibly seen in your design, whether you're the creative director for the design for the brand, or you actually created the graphics yourself or had someone else create the graphics, from photography to the fonts to the logos to the website design, your work is so beautiful. And I want to say that it's one of the reasons is because it's so simple and clear, but it captures so much good energy in that simplicity. And that takes a tremendous amount of art and science. And the
Yes.
two coming together, the brand is so impactful because of how you design the visuals. And so I just want to celebrate that, because our world needs more simplicity.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I'm going to just allow myself to receive that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But you're right. There's so much out there. It's so busy. We're so fast paced. We're so instant gratification that it's hard to take notice to things unless they're different. And I think that the best way to be different is just to be very simply stated you.
Oh, I love it.
Now remember, my design agency is called Freshly Stated.
Yes. I remember when I discovered you, Kristie, and it was a referral from someone that I trust. And it was when you were using Freshly Stated. And I was like, I love both of those words together. And her work is freshly stated. And you have been on my radar ever since. So good job at making your mark on the world, even a couple years ago.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
So good. Kristie, how do you like to connect with people? Because I know that so much of our communities are created by the interactions and the conversations that we share one-to-one. and sometimes in a group as well. I know you do a lot of group work. You've been a part of masterminds. You're leading a real life book club group, the business version as well. And so, a lot of these connections can happen one-to-one or in group. So what is important to you when it comes to the type of connection that creates that community and collaboration that we're talking about?
I think real raw authenticity is it makes the biggest impact for me too. So it's not about, collecting a bunch of numbers. There's this lots of conversations going on right now about friend requests on Facebook. There's so many friend requests out there that at the same time you lose the quality that you get when you have those individual connections with people. And so, I'm really looking to go anywhere and everywhere that I can where I can get those real quality conversations. And something that is amazing to me that I finally allowed myself to open up to a couple of years ago in my business is to connect with people all over. I've always had clients all over the place, but really, really understanding what that could mean, even though we're not physically located in the same location, you still can make an amazing connection, good quality connection, and create a friend for life, really, by just reaching out and having those real conversations. And part of that has to do, and you know this about me, Susannah, is that allowing yourself to be really honest and truthful in the moment, as long as you have permission to do so. I think that really allows you to take that whole level of connection on a whole nother deeper realm level that I personally just started experiencing myself a couple of years ago. Awesome. And so I think that as long as you're open to receiving it, then you will always be placed in the right place that you need to be for whatever it is that you need to receive. As long as you're open, anything can happen, but you got to be willing to say when you're wrong and that you shouldn't have said or done something, and kind of owning your stuff. It's really important to do that because let's face it, I mean, we all try really hard and we're all, striving to be perfect, but we're not perfect. We're just human and we're real. And the only difference between those who say they try and those that they actually try is the action of which you take with the trying effort.
Yes.
So I'm really, again, just looking in any area of my life that I'm open to receiving whatever way or shape or form that looks like or needs to be, according to when and where and how I need to receive it. So it could be face-to-face, it could be through a referral, it could be through a group I'm involved in, or a mastermind that I go to, or a conference that I travel to, or anything, anywhere, all over the world.
Oh, so good. And I mean, your language is so powerful. I've been studying the power of language through Landmark or through, just being a business owner, a mom. It's like you see the impact of the words you use.
Yes.
You see the impact when you're holding back. You see the impact when you totally F up you're not saying exactly what you mean, and you're not meaning what you say, and you're like, oh, I just created a big mess. And it's part of being human, but wow, I mean, that is what we have. We have our language, and I really, really love working with you because your language is so empowering. Not to say that it's perfect, because none of us are perfect, but you really own what you say, and so I just appreciate that in you. I celebrate that. And I also know about you when we talk of collaboration and how you are able to hold space for your clients and other people in your life. But in addition to that, you allow and you're open to other people holding space for you. And I see that in your collaborations with mentors and your own coaches, and you going to conferences. And you have been vulnerable with me too. You've allowed me to hold space for you. And so I just want to acknowledge that Kristie is not like the all-powerful standalone, I'm going to hold space for you, let's collaborate. Like you practice what you preach around, being on the receiving end as well. And I think that's why you're so abundant. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, well, you've got to be able to receive as well as give too, because I know I'm not perfect and I don't strive to be perfect sometimes. But at the same time, it's like, I know that if there's something like constructive criticism, things that we fall on our face, but I think that there's so much value in seeing that as an opportunity to learn and to grow. than it is to feel completely defeated. And you probably will. I mean, things have happened to me where I've just felt completely devastated.
Yeah, like crying in bed in a ball for a day.
Like in the fetal position, like trying to hide from the world, right? Like we're all guilty of that too. But at the same time, it's like allow yourself to grieve, give yourself the space that you need and the grace really to just acknowledge how you really feel about that, like that real raw initial reaction. But then after that, brush it off and say, okay, I did something wrong. There was something that was miscommunicated or whatever the case is, but what can I learn from this opportunity? How can I take this experience, even though it really hurt? How can I learn from this so that this never happens again, hopefully, so that I'm positioned with myself to be more open to give and receive so that something like this doesn't hurt as bad and it's not as impactful.
And in that, it sounds like you're becoming a better person. It's not about, I'm going to do better, I'm going to do more next time. It's more so about how can I show up in a bigger way next time? How can I be the person that I really, truly want to be, you know? And that's coming from a whole different space than just doing or not feeling good enough. You know, it's not a feeling space either. It's like it's a proclamation that like, wait, who is the person I want to be, and how would that person operate next time? How would that person respond next time? So awesome.
Exactly. And so it makes a huge impact, not only for myself, because I want this for myself, but anything that I learn, I can also share with my clients that I mentor. I share with my kids. I'm not my kids. I don't have kids, just one, but with my son. But I call like my nieces and nephews my kids too, you know what I mean? So it's like they're watching, they pay attention. And so it's like how I respond to whatever conversation or whatever scenario, like that's real, raw, authentic feelings. And I'm being watched all the time, especially by my son. And so I want to make sure that he sees how it affects me. So not hiding that I'm crying and I'm upset about something or that I'm angry or mad, but also being vocal and explaining why I'm feeling that or what I'm going through, and then coming up with creative ways to overcome it or respond to it or whatever it needs to be in a safe and respectful place. Because, you know, when those emotions are high, you want to just kind of come back and attack with how you're really feeling rawly. But that's not the right way to do it. You have to think about it first. And so teaching my son that, you know, just life skills, really.
That's beautiful.
Being, you know, realistic and raw with him to where he can handle things on his own emotionally intelligent level at 13, but not, you know, being completely transparent that he's like, whoa, this is a reality check. But that way he can say, okay, so when he finds himself in situations where he needs to learn how to respond and manage his emotions and things like that, he's better equipped to handle on a more mature level than other kids who are still throwing themselves on the floor.
Yeah, that's awesome. What a great role model. I love that you bring that up, because that shows, you know, where you're at in all areas of your life, and it sounds like you just check in with who you are being, what you're doing, and making sure in its alignment. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because let's face it, as women, as entrepreneurs, we wear lots of different hats.
Yeah.
Lots of hats. We're mothers, we're CEOs, we're friends, we're sisters, we're cousins, we're wives and, you know, spouses and all these other things. And so we have to make sure that we're checking in order to, you know, find that ultimate balance, if you will. We have to check into those different departments in order to make sure that everything's running as smoothly as possible.
Well, we can wear different hats, but I think where we get into trouble is if we try to wear different masks.
Yes.
Why can't we just be ourselves all the time and have our, you know, different hats on, where we do have to operate and communicate a little bit differently, but we're still always the same person? I think there's a freedom and a wholeness that comes from that. And I think that both you and I, in the work that we do, we really try to help women discover that they can be themselves everywhere. They can feel that wholeness and that integration of their entire lives, so that they're not spending so much energy trying to be or pretend something that they're not. So it's beautiful. So switching gears a little bit, you have a huge, exciting project that you have just launched. And so much of it has to do with an integration of everything that you are and everything that you love and you're passionate about and your expertise. and it is a big collaboration.
It is.
It involves a whole, you need a village. You need a village.
Yes, you do.
On all sides. So share a little bit about this beautiful project that you have going on.
Yeah, thank you for asking. So I have been in business for myself altogether with freelance and everything just about 8 years. And during the course of that time, I have come across and witnessed some amazing stories from some phenomenal people, both those that I know and those that I've had the pleasure of watching as they've grown as well. And I so desperately wanted to have a place, a platform to be able to share these stories because they're so important to feel, we all just want to be heard, right? We have big stories that we want to tell and we want to share them with the world. And so I so desperately wanted to have a platform, but earlier on, it just wasn't the right time or the right space for it. And last year, I finally figured out what that platform needed to be. And so then, you know, the idea or the immediate thought that comes in is, oh my gosh, how am I going to accomplish this by myself? Because I'm already busy, I'm already overcommitted, and there's no space to create what I really want to do this. But gosh, I'm so on fire and I'm so excited about this project. I want to just make it happen. So I was actually at lunch one day with one of my collaborators and I said, this is my idea. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to figure it out. And she said, that's my idea too. I want to do the same thing.
Oh, wow.
So lo and behold, I'm like, light bulb, right? All those ideas, those shiny things that pop up. I'm like, this is perfect. Like, this is actually doable because then we split the responsibility and can actually make it happen.
Yeah.
And so we found one other person. So there's a special magic behind the number of 3 or the rule of 3. So we found a third person, and the 3 of us together created the platform. It is a podcast. It's called the PS You Got This. And we have the incredible pleasure of interviewing these amazing women, telling their stories, taking you behind the screens to talk about what really as you're growing and building an online successful business.
Oh my God.
So I'm really excited. And the stories that are coming out are so beyond my wildest dreams in regards to, how deep people are willing to go and how vulnerable they're willing to be. And like just the authenticity behind them wanting to share their story is amazing.
How refreshing.
Oh my gosh. And so, yeah, together with my co-hosts, we each take a podcast. So we have a new show that comes out, a new episode that comes out every Monday.
Okay.
And we each have 1 week out of the month. And then the last week of the month, the 3 of us come together, panel format, like The View. We pick a topic that we talked about over the course of the last month, and we just kind of Q&A each other in regards to what we think, what we feel, what we've experienced ourselves, because all 3 of us are at the same point in our businesses as well. So we have a lot of, in regards to what works, what doesn't, what we've tried, resources, et cetera, et cetera. And so we're just happy to share those with our listeners.
Fun. Yeah, it sounds like conversations that you're really passionate about. I know podcasts are hot right now, and so the niche that you have going on is really awesome. I mean, it's just much needed. I'm sure.
Yes, and then to go back to the beginning when we first started this conversation, again, is just that community of feeling like you're alone trying to build this gigantic thing and you have no idea or how it's ever even going to come together. And then listening to our podcast, our big goal and our mission is to let you know that it may feel at times that you're alone, but you're really not.
Yeah.
And if you know what resources are available and you hear somebody else's story to inspire you along the way, that you can accomplish anything. So P.S., you do got this. You can and you will.
You can and you will. Awesome. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Kristie, this has been really, truly an honor to share so much time with you, to celebrate you, to ask you more questions. I actually have a flood of other questions I would love to ask you, but we'll have to have a part 2 sometime, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you and I could talk for days.
I know. That's why too, that it's just so much fun to work with you and to explore all the possibilities that we're creating together when it comes to connection, community, and collaboration, and knowing that we're just on the same wavelength. And anyone else who is listening who's on this wavelength, reach out to Kristie and I. We are safe spaces for you to land, for you to discover, for you to actually have your dream that you've had in your mind manifest. So, with Kristie and her business, you can find all of her information at KristieKeever.com. Follow her on social media. She's all over media. And how can people tap into your podcasts?
So the podcast, again, is called PS You Got This. It's available on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. So whatever format or delivery that you prefer to listen to as well. Also, the website's going to be launching soon, also where you can download and stream episodes straight through the website as well.
Love it. Thank you.
And the website is just psyougotthis.com.
psyougotthis.com. Great. And you can find more information and all of her links down in the description beneath this video. Also check out reallifebookclub.com. We have information about the Real Life Book Clubs. You can find Kristie Keever's business version book club that's coming up. That's actually virtual this time. So if it's virtual, that means you can join from wherever you want to in the world if the time works for you. And you're reading, which book is it?
The book is called Essentialism, the Disciplined Art of Doing Less with More, or Doing More with Less.
Doing more with less. That sounds awesome. Exactly what we were talking about with simplicity. So you can find her information about the business book club, and you can also find more information about the Real Life Socials. If you're in the Denver area, we have the Real Life Socials every 2 months, and you get to deeply connect with other women and really experience the community we're talking about in person, where you get to hear from other women who have been there, done that. You get to, see Kristie live in person, see me live in person. We would love to have you sometime. The next one is July 25th. Again, we'll put some more information in the description down below. And follow Kristie and I, because together we're a powerhouse, and we don't even recognize all the amazing possibilities that are going to come from the two of us working together. We're scratching the surface, and so far so good. It's beautiful. So stay in tune with us. And Kristie, is there anything else you want to add before we say goodbye to our audience today?
Nope, just thank you so much for having me. This was fun as always.
Yes, always so good. Thank you so much for being here, and we look forward to connecting more. Thank you so much. Bye.